Okay, thank you for joining us, everybody. So just a few housekeeping rules before we start. All attendees will be on mute and will remain for the whole webinar. Please use the question box to ask any questions related to the topic, and all questions will be answered after the demo. If we run out of time, or if the question requires a long answer, then we'll answer this offline directly. Please use the question box or the chat box for any questions that you ask, and also if you can't hear, for example, or if the presenter's going too fast. And please note that a link to view the webinar recording will be sent out to all the attendees after the demo. Okay. So this webinar is number 9 in our series. We've been having a series of webinars on the top 5 things of key points to focus on within Microsoft Dynamics Nav, and now obviously Business Central. You can sign up for some or all, and we normally send out emails to register for the next ones. So my name is Karen, and I'll be facilitating the demo today. I'm an account manager here at TVision. My background is 17 years of software account management experience working for ERP companies. Ian's going to be doing the demo today. He's a support consultant here at TVision. He's been working here for about 2 years and has been using Nav since 2000. Okay, so today it's really all about Dynamics 365 Business Central and answering some of those key questions that our clients have been asking us ever since it has been released. So to give you a background, Microsoft Dynamics Nav 2018 was the last release of Nav. As of this October, it was replaced by Dynamics 365 Business Central. Now, this was originally just going to be a SaaS model, competitive to other lower cost entry solutions for finance and operations, such as Xero and QuickBooks, that would offer everything an ERP solution could provide with out-of-the-box functionality at a monthly fee. It also includes automatic updates, and any additional functionality is provided in the form of extensions or apps which are downloaded from the App Store. Dynamics 365 Business Central is part of the Dynamics 365 solution set, which includes Office 365, allowing a common data platform for which you can easily integrate with other 365 solutions. Now, as the solution is written from Nav, it soon became very apparent that it could be the replacement for it. However, Microsoft understood that many clients had invested very heavily in Nav, and they would want to remain on an on-premise perpetual type of license solution with their own customizations. So as of this October, Microsoft released the on-premise version of Business Central. Now, TVision will still be supporting every version of Nav, as it has always done. Microsoft, their supported versions normally go back 5 years, or extended versions go back slightly longer, and that's from Nav 2015 at the moment. Now, Microsoft will still let you upgrade to Nav 2018 before the end of March 2019 if you've been paying your enhancement fee, and you can carry on purchasing additional licenses of your current solution. But after the 1st of April next year, if you did want to upgrade your current version of Nav, you would go to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, but you can choose to remain the on-premise. Remember, on-premise means it could be hosted on your server or in the cloud, such as Azure. Or you can transition to the SaaS model. Now, things to consider if you're looking to potentially transition to the SaaS model. Microsoft will also offer a 40% discount on the subscription fees for existing clients until 2021. If you're moving to the on-premise, then Microsoft will allow you to do a straight upgrade of your licenses, again, as long as you've been paying the fee. So the benefits to moving to a SaaS model are automatic updates, much easier to add on new or additional functionality via purchasing it through the App Store, and the enhancement fees actually included within the monthly subscription price. But please do remember that if you're moving from perpetual Nav licenses to Dynamics 365 Business Central SaaS model, you'll effectively start paying for your user licenses all over again. Another key point is that customizations on your existing Nav database will need to have the equivalent available in the App Store if you do go to the SaaS model of Business Central. So perhaps it's a good time to review what you actually need. And finally, the most significant implication is that either for the on-premise or the SaaS Business Central model, you'll no longer have concurrent user licenses. They will all have to be named users. When you do move to Business Central, one concurrent user actually gives you 2 named users. So it allows some kind of flexibility depending on how you've been using the concurrent user licenses. Okay, so before the demo, I'd like to do a quick poll just to see how close you are to making a decision to Business Central. So if you wouldn't mind putting in your answer, that would be great. I'll just give it a couple of seconds and then I'll let you know the results. Okay, just give it slightly longer. Okay, thank you very much. So that's quite interesting. 33% saying maybe, but they're not sure how it's going to work. 50% saying, well, we don't really know, there's a lot to consider. And 17% are saying, no, we don't believe it's sufficient for our needs. Okay, so I'll now hand over to Ian. Now what Ian's going to be doing is, he's not going to give a full demo of the Business Central, but what he's going to do is he's going to show you Business Central on premise in the Windows client and web client, and then he's going to show you Business Central SaaS model. So you can look at the differences in the look and feel and potentially how the functionality is laid out. So I'll hand over to Ian.
Thanks, Karen. As Karen said, when people ask me about Business Central, the first thing that comes to mind is it the same as Nav, or is it something completely different? So let me try and answer those questions for you. So on the screen at the moment, this is Business Central hosted on-premise with the Windows client, and anyone who's used to using Nav on the newer versions, you'll be hard pressed to see the difference between Business Central and Nav. I've logged in as the business manager on a standard Kronos database. I've got all my tiles that would be there for business manager. My charts are there. I'm looking at my favorite accounts. I have the self-service section, my reports inbox, my trial balance, etc. So everything that you would normally see is here. The menus on the left, they look exactly the same. The ribbon looks the same. There are some enhancements in the background, obviously. A lot of things that were causing problems have been fixed. So as well as moving to Business Central, it's also an upgrade of Nav. I'm not going to bore you anymore with the Windows client. It's exactly what you would expect to see if you're using Nav. If you're using Business Central, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference. If we look at now, oops, this is exactly the same database. So this is also hosted on premise. I'm just accessing that same database using the same business manager role, and I'm seeing exactly the same information. It's just laid out slightly differently. So all those menus that you had down the left-hand side, they've been moved up to the top. Everything that was on the ribbon, everything that's on the side menus, it's all been put up here in one place. I still see the same buttons that I was seeing, again, just laid out differently, the same charts, my favorite accounts, my trial balance. There are a couple of enhancements on this web version. You get your insights from last week. This is an app add-in, and depending on your role, so as a business manager, it looks at the past week, 2 weeks, it goes back as far as 3 months, and it tells me things about who's my biggest customer, what was my biggest sale, what was my best selling item. And on any of these insights, you can click into it and it takes you to a little breakdown of who are your top 10. There's also a section at the bottom for Power BI reports. We have done a webinar before on different reporting tools. Power BI is Microsoft's flagship reporting tool. And if you're using it, you can embed any of your Power BI reports onto this home screen, and they're fully integrated. You can click them, open them, drill down on them, see where the numbers came from. So let's Two ways of looking at my Business Central on-premise, using the Windows client or using the web client. You get exactly the same information. One thing that you'll notice is missing is the departments menu has disappeared. So where you had the menus on the left, departments has gone. I don't know why Microsoft have taken this away, but anything that you did access through departments, that search box is still there. So if you want to add new users, for instance, you just need to type it in and it will take you to the section where you can add new users. This is possibly just a way of hiding some of the background complexity from the end users and only show them exactly what they need to see. So that's the on-premise version. Now let's go and take the scary step and have a look at the cloud version, software as a service. And once again, just give it a second to refresh. I've logged in on the cloud. Now this is a software as a service, the SaaS model. I've logged into Microsoft's demo SendPit database for Kronos as business manager, and you will notice, comparing this to the web version of on-premise, I'm seeing exactly the same things. I'm seeing the same tiles, I'm seeing the same charts, my favorite accounts, my trial balance, that ability to add my Power BI reports, that's there. These insights from the past couple of weeks, they're also there, fully click through. And you also get a little help bar up at the top. And if you go to a screen where there's some useful new feature that's been added, it will just pop up a friendly message saying, we can do this for you, such as linking to Cortana Intelligence to have a look at your items and possibly get insights on customers, etc. While we're on here, any of the standard tasks that you might do, so something simple, for instance, raising a sales order, there's an option to add one there. If I'm on a menu that doesn't have this shortcut option, I can always go and search for sales orders. And it works exactly the same way that Nav was working in the past. It's going to open up a sales order screen for me. And you would put in the same information that you used to put in on the old system. You've still got your fact boxes on the right-hand side that tells you what's going on. You can drill down to select your customers, you can type them in. When you've put in the header information of who the customer is, you get your lines section where you can add the items or the GL codes that you're selling, quantities, etc. It still gives you your summary and tells you how much this order is for. Some of those tick boxes have been replaced with these little slider buttons. As I say, these changes are merely cosmetic. It's just the way this information is laid out. It works in exactly the same way that Nav is working if you're used to the 2015 onwards style of Nav. And basically, that's all I have to show you. It's not as scary as I thought it was going to be the first time I had a look. I was expecting something radically different. I was pleasantly surprised to find out pretty much everything that I was expecting to see. I can still see some of those enhancements that they made, actually quite nice. So is Nav the same as Business Central? Pretty much at the moment, they're one and the same. The differences tend to be on the back end with your customizations. Karen's probably going to speak more about that. But if you have a lot of customizations on your current Nav, you probably want to avoid software as a service for the moment. That only works with apps. It doesn't work with current customizations. But if you're a business, you're new and you're wanting to install Nav, or if you've got very minimal customizations, software as a service shouldn't be scary for you. It's going to work pretty much as you would expect Nav to work. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're going to open it up to some questions now. So if you could use the question box, that'll be brilliant. And then we shall see if we can answer them for you.
Okay, and the first question that's already come in, can my NAV partner make new apps for me if I want to have some bespoke functionality? Yes, the Business Central software as a service, it is still possible to customize. Instead of the traditional customizations that you might be used to, those customizations come in the form of apps. They are written slightly differently. They do have different limitations and strengths compared to the current changes that we would make for you. They do take a little bit longer to produce because they have to be vetted by Microsoft and approved as meeting their standards. So, you know, there's no quick 15-minute fixes. It would take a little bit more time, but it is still possible. And if you go for Business Central on-premise, then you can have all the customizations that you currently have, and they will still work on that web version of the on-premise. Those customizations will pull through. So yep, customizations are still possible. Does Business Central integrate easily with other MS D365 solutions? That's a nice question. This is one of the reasons that Microsoft are going in this direction. What they're doing in the background, they're putting something in that they're calling the common data model. So they want to integrate all of their products together and use a common database at the background that they all read from. So going forwards, they're aiming for very tight integration between Outlook and your Dynamics 365. For instance, if an email from a customer comes in, Outlook can see that it's a customer on your Business Central. And if they're asking for a quote, it will take you to the correct place in Business Central to actually produce that quote. And when you've finished, it will create the email for you. All you have to do is put in your text and click send. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to integrate all of these D365 products together so you get one seamless product from the end user's point of view. Anything else?
Okay, I think that's it for now. So if we just move on to the next screen. So as Ian was saying, really, the look and feel of Business Central, either on-premise or SaaS, very similar to NAV. Navigation is very similar. It really is down to the type of licensing model that you really want, and whether or not you want to move to something which is minimal customizations with automatic updates. So really, the questions are with Business Central, it is just the latest version of NAV if you are looking to on-premise. But the key things that you have to keep in your mind is, like I said, if you want something which has automatic updates, which is hosted by Microsoft in the cloud, it has a monthly fee, which includes the enhancements and easy to manage, you might want to look to consider the SaaS model. But do bear in mind that you will essentially be starting to pay for the solutions again, all by the fact that you do have a discount for it. If you're looking to move to the on-premise version, like I said, as far as we know, the information that we have, your customizations, we can take them over. We will be able to give you more of an update on Dynamics 365 Business Central after our colleagues come back from Directions, which is taking place this week as well. Please bear in mind, moving to either the on-premise or the SaaS model, there will not be any more concurrent user licenses. It will change to named users, but you do get 2 named users for every concurrent one that you have. Integrations, you currently probably have quite a few integrations within the solution, which are linked to other solutions as part of your processes. So again, will they still work? Yes, they will if we're on premise, because it's just a customizations. For the SaaS model, you will need to have an app. Now, the benefit of having the apps is the fact that it's a packaged Microsoft approved app, which does take a little bit longer for partners to make, but also you're not restricted to your current partner. You can go out there and look in the App Store and see if something has been created before. Probably best to run it by your partner just to make sure, would that be good for me? Can it work? But you know, the amount of apps out there, you know, is going to be very large, and it's not just restricted to what your current partner has created. And finally, anybody that's using Jet or Continua at the moment probably wants to know if those solutions are going to work with Dynamics 365 Business Central. The answer is yes. At the moment, Jet Financials is available on the SaaS model. and obviously on the on-premise. The continuous solutions are currently available on-premise, but the apps for the SaaS model will be available earlier next year. Okay, so I hope you found the webinar interesting and informative. Like I said before, this is the 9th in our series, and we'll be sending emails out soon to register for the next one. We'll also put a reminder in our newsletter too. If you do have any questions about this webinar or any more, if you feel free to email me at marketing@tvision.co.uk. And once we close this webinar, there will be a survey. If you wouldn't mind filling it out, that'll be great. Thank you very much.